Hello, tile friends. Welcome back to another live recording of the Tile Money Podcast. I am your host, Luke Miller, and today I am joined with by Michael Mullett out of Canada. Michael, how are you today?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Doing real well. Thanks for joining me. You've been part of the group, the Facebook group, for pretty much as long as it's existed, so a couple years, and you've been adding value there. And you're someone I talked to a while ago, and I'm glad to be circling back to you. We've had a lot of discussion, a lot of questions about commercial work, commercial business, and that just happens to be your expertise. So we've got a lot to discuss today, and I want to thank my sponsors before we get into this. Ladecrete International, thank you for being a sponsor of the Tile Money Podcast and providing value to tile contractors everywhere, as well as the National Tile Contractors Association, the NTCA. So thanks to both those sponsors for continuing to support Tile Money Podcast and make this recording possible today. So Michael, why don't you let us know where you're at and a little bit about what your business looks like, and then we'll get into kind of the meat of it.
Sure. So I'm based out of Newfoundland, Canada. So we're the most easterly point of North America here, right out on the ocean. Our demographic, we're small size based, people wise, a huge island, only 500,000 of us here. My business focuses on commercial work, recently getting into more than just flooring. But we're mainly a commercial contractor. We'll do the odd residential if it's a referral, but we stick, for the most part, to commercial, hospitals, hotels, tenant fit outs, things of that nature.
Yeah. How long have you been in business with that?
So recently merged with my cousin to incorporate all aspects, we'll say, of carpentry in the commercial field. So we've been together now since February. I've been involved in flooring since 2004. I started off with residential, doing actually hardwood sanding and refinishing. Stairs and railings. Partnered with a fella, got into doing the tile work as well. And from there, about 2007, 2008, we got into the commercial side of things.
So how this is interesting, because this is a lot of my audience is into residential, and from time to time people talk about how do you transfer into commercial. So I've asked some commercial contractors that, and they said, I don't know, I'm second generation commercial, or this has been so long that I honestly don't have any advice for you. So talk to us about that transition. Why did you choose to transition into commercial, and kind of how that all came about?
Sure. So we started off, like I said, residential for quite some time. And then I decided, after learning quite a bit about the commercial side of things installation-wise through the union, I actually, my wife got pregnant, and, we decided, hey, let's try this steady income thing. So I went and I joined the union, learned a lot. And after a couple years, it really wasn't for me. So I left the union. And when I left, I liked the commercial work itself. So then I didn't really know where to begin looking for that. So I went to the larger stores and retailers in my area and applied with them as a subcontractor. Got in with them, and that was my in to the commercial work. I started off through the stores, which I think is a really good way for people to get their feet wet. You get paid faster. Your money is a lot more guaranteed working through the stores. You've got that security.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. So I love that you went and worked for somebody. You went to work for the union to kind of put in your time, get your feet wet. Like you said, that steady paycheck was really nice during that period of your life. And excuse me. And I feel like that point alone is missing it just goes over some people's heads. It seems like sometimes we have to put the time in to learn. You're getting paid. Sure. You're getting paid to learn. I mean, what could be better than that? Which is, I'm all for supporting business owners, and that's the point of this podcast, of course. But I just think that's an important point there that you brought out, Michael. So what did the stores dictate your prices, or how did that work when you started, going down that
road? Some did, some didn't. Some would ask me to go and check the job out and provide them with a quote. Other stores, when we started, we sat down and we negotiated out some square foot pricing and, minimum job pricing, things like that before we started working, had put a subcontractor agreement in place. That way everybody was on the same page. I ran into my very first one, first store we got connected with. Mm-hmm. I didn't know my commercial pricing. I didn't know my, for heat welded sheet vinyl. That was a big one, and I really enjoyed doing it. So I went in and, I told the guys, I know my ceramic pricing and I know my hardwood pricing. I said, be fair with me on the other stuff and I'll take you at your word. Turns out they weren't so fair with me.
Yeah.
By the tune of about 50%.
Wow.
And we did that first year working with them. There was a big push in the schools here to switch over to Tarkett Johnsonite sports floor, which is a nice cushion floor anyways. So I went and did 23 schools, kindergarten rooms that summer and got 50% value, we'll say, on that. So that was a hard lesson to learn.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like it. So how did you catch that you weren't making enough money?
Well, I realized, one, I'm working way too many hours to get what I'm making. I was still making good money, but not to carry the overhead that we had. A truck, and had a nice truck, new tools. I had a couple fellows on payroll, all that, and it was tight, too tight. So we ended up getting a call from another store, and we went in and talked to them about their pricing. And when they showed me their sheet vinyl prices, I didn't say anything. I just kind of went, okay.
Yeah.
So I called the other store back and I said, is there any reason why a store in the same community can offer me double for the same work? And they danced around it, said that, I was charging a lot for prep work and this and that. And I said, no. I said, the other store is willing to pay the exact same rates for the prep work, and then double the price for the install. So I said, something's not right here, boys.
Yeah, I'd say so. So what happened? Did they match the prices, or did you go find other work?
Yeah, we ended that relationship.
Yeah.
They did call me back a year later,
sure.
Wanting us to come back and do a few more condos that they had, because at the time we were a subcontracting team, and my team grew based on just people that I knew in the area that were tradesmen and looking for work, but didn't want to go out and work on their own, we'll say, run a business of their own. So, I would take people on as we needed, and they were all people that I knew, and we'd have anywhere from 4 to 12 people working with us at any given time. So we could go in and take on a nursing home, say, and do the sheet vinyl, vinyl planks, ceramics, carpet, take it all on, because we had the people working together that had the experience to do it all.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And so now today, are you still kind of subbing for stores, or are you going direct to builders? Or
so now today we're bidding direct to builders, direct to general contractors. We're dealing with some hotel firms, hotel groups directly as well. We don't.
Tell me about that transition. How do you start working for builders? How do you get your name out there? How do you kind of transition out of the store model, the subcontractor, I mean, really a sub of a sub, and go direct to the source? How do you make that transition?
So that's a lot of legwork, we'll say. A lot of looking through your directories to find the GCs in the area. So I went and I cataloged in a nice Excel spreadsheet all the GCs in my area, all their contact information, real estate companies, management firms, all these different places where I knew we could potentially get work, where the people where I was getting work from were getting their jobs. Mm-hmm. And we made a big directory of all these people. I just started emailing. I made a nice presentation folder package with a copy of my workers' comp, my liability insurance, few references, pictures of jobs that we've done, hand delivered them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I didn't even get out of the parking lot before we had phone calls. It's all about how you present yourself. And I mean, getting on the bidders list is easy. You just request it, they ask a few references maybe, and then all of a sudden you're getting emails from the companies to start bidding prices. But I was after trying to build relationships directly with some of these companies and GCs to, I wanted to be the preferred installer. Mm-hmm. Where,
tell us a little bit about that.
So it's not always going to work. A lot of the times they do want their 3 quotes, mm-hmm. But they don't have to go with the cheapest, which what everybody thinks.
Right.
You build that strong relationship, and they might come to you during this bidding process and say, hey, you were high a little bit. If you can for this project, and then you get to negotiate. By being a preferred contractor, you can start to negotiate with them a little bit. It just helps so you don't lose that job right away.
Right.
Just by being the high bidder or middle bidder or not the lowest bidder, which is often the case for, situations where you don't have that relationship built or where the general contractor doesn't know you. So it's really important to keep that communication going. Once a week, once every 2 weeks, reach out to those builders that you want to do work for, talk to them, what's going on, stop into their office with a coffee. It's really about building relationships that way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Stay top of mind.
Yep.
Now, once you're getting into these, let's say you do have to be competitively priced on maybe a public job, right, or something like that, and you want to be real competitively priced. Are there a lot of change orders in your business, in your commercial business that you see? Is that kind of almost like part of the business plan?
Yeah, so you see a lot of change orders. I try not to price expecting them. I like to price and go in being covered, which sometimes does put me a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
But it's very important that on your bid sheet, you spell out everything that you're including and everything that you're excluding. My exclusions list sometimes bigger than my inclusion list.
Right.
And that just covers your butt.
Wow.
And, it shows them exactly what you're pricing, which gives them a chance to compare apples to apples. Mm-hmm. If they get another bid in that doesn't include, all the patch and prep work that I've listed, well, then they can see why you're more expensive. Mm-hmm. That's really important when you're sending a commercial bid in.
Yeah. So the preparation is key. Having your ducks in a row, making sure your contracts are tight, and really, showing what you're going to do, and like you said, what you're not going to do.
Yes.
Who's doing all this work? Are you doing everything? Do you work in the field? Are you just the office manager, or how is the business structured at this point, and how many employees?
So before COVID-19 hit, I'll base things on that because right now we're really in a not normal situation.
Sure.
So before COVID-19 hit, we had an office manager. She, took care of the phones, the books, all that stuff. Myself and my cousin did a lot of the estimating. He's not so computer savvy, so he would go through and do the takeoff, and then I would enter everything into our estimating program, which is really just a customized Excel spreadsheet for delivering our numbers. We use a takeoff software, which helps us out a lot.
What's that?
PlanSwift.
PlanSwift. Okay.
So then everything else, I would manage the jobs. My cousin, two of us would be on site managing. Depending how busy we were, we would get our hands in the field too, and still installing a little bit. Be working foreman, we'll say, depending on what was going on. We had a few fellows that worked for us hourly, and then we would sub things out from there as well.
Yeah. And then now, since COVID, how has COVID changed your business?
So our office girl doesn't want to come back because the government's paying for her to go to school now and upgrade. So now I'm doing the bookkeeping, doing the estimating. Between my cousin and I, we're doing everything ourselves now, just the two of us. And then his brother, so my other cousin, who's ticketed carpenter, when it comes to doing the work, the three of us right now are going out and doing most of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have less work up there right now because of COVID?
Yeah. I mean, where we are in Newfoundland here, we've got 0 cases of COVID for the past 40 days, I think. So we're pretty much back to normal.
Good. Great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Our tough point now is building supplies. I mean, we live on an island, and it was tough enough to get it in the first place.
Yeah.
So now things are a little strapped, but we're starting to get back to normal. We've priced a few jobs recently that we've won. We're in the midst of finalizing a hotel project here in Newfoundland, so things are picking up, and we bid on things outside of Newfoundland as well, somewhat across Canada.
Yeah.
So we have some contacts across Canada. I've got a fella in Ontario that acts as our project coordinator, project manager there.
Okay.
So that's over 3,000 kilometers away.
Wow.
And
tell me about that. And then I want to dig in. You mentioned financing. I do want to talk about that. But tell me about this, 3,000 kilometers away job. So
I lived outside of Newfoundland most of my life. I was born here, lived away in Ontario for the most part, then moved back. But when I was in Ontario, a lot of work on the go there. That's where I did most of my work. And here in Newfoundland, I met this fella who was a PM for a company doing a hotel renovation, actually, and I was doing the flooring part. He's from Ontario. He ended up quitting that company and working for another company in Ontario, but he's working for us now on a commission basis, helping us gather projects there. And as we get them, he takes care of managing them.
Okay. So it's all subcontractor work?
That's right.
Yeah.
We do have a few people there, but we don't have enough work on the go there to hire them on consistently hourly. So for now it works. Either my cousin or I will fly out and check on things. Our fellow Roman is there, and he's running things day to day, we'll say, keeping in touch with clients and working on building this. Hotel industry is kind of our niche where we're really going after this year.
Yeah.
Tons of hotels. We thought that they were all going to stop all their renovations, and they've stopped some, but there's still quite a few that are still going.
Oh, so you're mainly in the renovation space, not me.
So a bit of both. We're pricing some new construction hotels in Ontario. The one here in Newfoundland is a renovation. We've done a lot of new stores. So yeah, a bit of a mix of both, but all within the commercial field.
Hmm. And are they, just curious, are you installing like lobby floors? Or I guess you do all carpets and everything. So you're doing all the flooring, obviously, right? Are you
Yes.
doing the showers as well?
Yes.
What is that, tile or?
So lately they've been getting into this product called Mincy Marble. It's a paneling, so it's a fiberglass panel
Okay.
with a tile imprint.
Yeah.
So it's got a tile pattern on it, but it's pretty much fiberglass, um, and they just go up in one solid piece on each wall.
Yeah. 3 pieces.
Yeah.
Is that pretty profitable for you? To,
It is, because they're fairly quick. We can do a shower once the shower walls are prepped and ready. We can install this Mincy Marble in an hour and a half.
yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
So, yeah, we're getting them. You know, we'll knock off a full hotel floor, say 30 units, in 5 days.
Hmm.
So it's pretty quick, and all depends if you're dealing direct or if you're subbing. But the money is fairly good, anywhere from $300 to $450 a shower.
Okay. Okay.
So and two guys will knock them off. Like I said, you'll get 6 done a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Profitable.
yeah,
Good.
it's profitable. We're trying to educate them too on the a better method of installation. These guys that are doing these hotel jobs and stuff, some of the GCs they just don't have the knowledge in, say, that shower area.
Mm-hmm.
On how to properly prep a shower and things like that. And it's all a budget for them. They do these hotel renos fairly frequently. A hotel might renovate this year and then again in 5 or 10 years renovate the same unit.
Because of water damage or
just wear and tear, but I think a lot of it is preventable.
Mm.
But yeah, hopefully we can educate them in some better ways moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. That's probably why we lost a lot of the tile. You don't see a lot of tile in showers and tub surrounds in hotels anymore, due to poor prep. In my opinion, of course it takes longer, but they were trying to skip some steps there, and we saw a lot of failures. So they're going to solid panel, 3-panel systems. So kind of sad for tile guys, but that's just the way it goes, I guess.
That's it. They think it's easier and it's going to last, but it still will only last based on what's behind the product.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us, let's jump into this. You said you're financing a hotel, you're financing a lot of money here. What are you doing to go about that, and how does that all work?
Right. So I don't have $500,000 in the bank to be doing most of these jobs. I lost in Ontario. We got stiffed by a GC and a certain fitness industry builder. So we took a really hard hit, my wife and I. So pretty much started over from scratch again here in Newfoundland when we moved. We moved things. Series of events in Ontario that led us to move back to Newfoundland. My mom passed away and a few other things. So wanted to move to slow down. And I didn't slow down. I don't know slow down. So getting into the commercial industry can be expensive, right? You've got to be willing to negotiate with the general contractors about how you get paid. That's the biggest part. We do this, yes, because we like what we do, but we do it because we want a paycheck, right? We're in this to make money.
Yeah.
That's the simple part of it.
Sure.
If we're not making money, I can go back to the job I had when I was 16 working at McDonald's.
Right.
So to be able to do these, you got to negotiate good terms with your clients, your GCs, and make sure that they'll stick to those terms. So get a credit check done on them. Ask for references. Don't be afraid to do those things. And I work with a company that's $1 billion company, and they're in the business of financing. But the cool part is, because when you first start your business, most cases, I'm not sure what it's like down in the States, but here in Canada, if you start your business and then apply for a line of credit or something, it doesn't quite work because all of a sudden you're not employed anymore.
Yeah.
So you don't have a source of income.
Risky. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting that line of credit from the bank unless you have 2 years tax statements. So I use a process of invoice factoring, which more or less these companies purchase your receivables at an interest rate. So first step is you get your clients qualified. So the company I work with will do a background check and investigate the company, make sure they're good to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Which is good to know before you sign a contract.
Yeah, that sounds like.
Yeah. So, we get that information and it doesn't cost us anything. It's all included in, what ends up being the fees for the transaction. So you get that back. Okay, your client's qualified. We'll help you deal with X number of dollars per month from this client.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've had clients that they've approved at $50,000 a month. Some clients they've approved at $500,000 a month to be able to do their projects. So you get that in place. Then when it comes time to invoicing, it's pretty straightforward. Your client approves the invoice.
Mm-hmm.
I give it to my partner, and that's how they present themselves as your accounts receivable department.
Mm-hmm.
And then they send off a notice of assignment so that the client knows they have to pay them directly. Client signs off on it, signs off on the invoice, and within 48 hours, I've got a wire transfer in my account, less some fees.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really helps with cash flow, which is the biggest killer in the commercial industry.
Right. Yeah.
So, we can pay our vendors directly. We don't have to worry about getting accounts or anything if we don't want to. Just pay for everything cash or however. Keeps our subs paid and just keeps the cash flow going, which that's the wheel of the business.
Yeah.
Generally, these companies charge a percentage every 30 days, or they'll charge a percentage based on 30 days. And then if they go over 30 days, then the interest rate is calculated daily.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be on your clients, and make sure they pay. Otherwise, it will start eating into your profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
But, when I'm doing a quote, I've always got 3% added in there as financing fees.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the quote. And I tell my clients up front, if you want to pay me faster and save that 3%, you can. Or if you need those 30 or 45 days to pay, it's 3%.
Yeah. So, 3%, that's the same as a credit card financing fee, right?
Pretty much.
I think they're roughly 3%.
Yeah.
Like if I paid you with credit card, it would cost me an extra 3%.
That's right.
Or you an extra 3%. So it's actually not bad. The processing fees aren't bad.
No, they're not bad at all. And the amount of money that's available through that method is incredible.
Yeah. And are you are they bringing like legal representation to the table as well? Are they collecting the money if it goes delinquent for you, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they're the first course of action on collecting the funds. So of course, there's two different models of factoring. There's a non-recourse and a recourse. So the non-recourse means you're not on the hook if the client defaults on payment.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I don't think we have that option in the construction industry.
Right.
Which means if my client defaults on payment, I am on the hook for those funds.
Oh yeah.
So you want to make sure you've got a good relationship built. You really know the client. You've done the credit checks, which our partner does that for us. Make sure that they're good. They qualify them as a good payer. I believe there's some companies, some of these invoice factoring companies, that will do a non-recourse for construction, but it is at a higher percentage. Mm-hmm. So you got to really look into the details of it all. There is risk. Nothing's risk-free.
Yeah.
You just got to do your homework. And like I said, make sure you know your client. You know, if you've heard that this general contractor is constantly 90 days or late paying people, you know, they don't pay their 10% holdback, they find reasons for, you know, dodging that and these other things, then stay away from them.
Yeah.
You know, just don't take the chance, don't take the risk. And I've learned the hard way. You know, I've done it, and my 10% holdbacks disappeared. All of a sudden, all these fees come out that, you know, they've got back charges for disposal and a bunch of other things they've made up.
Wow.
So you got to really know your clients. There's a list of ones that I won't work with now.
What's the name of the financing company you work with?
So the one I work with is Fund Through, and they're based out of Toronto, Ontario. But there's plenty of them worldwide, and Fund Through makes it so easy. I mean, once you get your account set up, you upload your invoice to them, and you actually send your invoice out through their web portal, so that your client will get a co-branded email. There they are.
That's them?
Yep.
If anybody's looking at this, the link will be in the show notes here, but I'm showing the website on YouTube. Perfect.
And I'll be upfront with it. If you go there and you end up registering with them and tell them, you know, my name is there, talk to Kelly, and I get a referral. So
yeah. Yeah, thanks for letting us know. And there's nothing wrong with that, for sure. There's a lot of these affiliate programs nowadays with people who are using a business and want to, you know, tell others about it. So just tell them what now?
Yeah. So talk to Kelly. She's one of the account managers there.
Oh, Kelly.
And just give them my name, and okay. You know, you'll get a referral as well. You get a little bonus when you first start, and I get a little bonus too.
Great. Yeah. So let them know Michael Mullett sent you.
Yep. And Kelly will take care of you. She's awesome. They're all working at home right now because of the COVID-19. Toronto is still a hot spot in Canada.
Yeah.
I think a couple hundred cases. They're down to maybe, I think, 100 or 200 cases a day in Ontario they're getting, which is...
That's not bad.
No.
Now, sorry, go ahead. I do think this is available for US as well. I thought I saw that somewhere.
Yes, I believe they are.
Yeah. So this might be something interesting to look into if anybody's looking to get into commercial work, but, you know, doesn't know how to front that money for 60 to 90 days. You know, I think Michael just broke it down. That was helpful.
I mean, it's good. So I think, I'm not sure, but I think Fund Through might do purchase order financing as well. So when it comes to ordering your materials.
Oh, really?
They'll want to see, you know, there's certain things that have to be done and certain processes that have to be in place. I can't speak for them on that exactly, but I believe, you know, that they offer that option as well. Tons of different creative ways to make it work, and that's just what you got to do. You got to get creative.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you're good at that, you know, starting a second business. And you were sharing with me recently, we've got some more time here. You were sharing with me some recent expansion with a new business partner. Let's talk about that a little bit, how you approach that and the benefits and so forth.
Yeah, so my cousin, Wade, that's his name. He's journeyman carpenter. You know, he's been in commercial construction since he was 17 years old. Mm-hmm. He's 36 now, so quite some time at it. Mm-hmm. His dad as well. He's second generation. You know, my uncle was one of the foremen on the Skydome build in Toronto.
Okay.
So, you know, good family history there of good builders.
Yeah.
He was slow with work, couldn't really find a job, we'll say. So I told him, I said, well, why don't you start a business? You know, find your own work. I'm bidding on all this work. Why don't you bid on the commercial side of the or the carpentry side of it?
Yeah.
So he did, and then I said, why are we paying 2 insurances, 2 workers' compensations? Like, this is just silly. So we created a company together.
Yeah.
And
kind of merged the two.
That's right. We merged the two, got an office space, and you know, went at it serious.
Okay. And how's that working out so far?
Good. It's working out well. Starting to get traction again. You know, before COVID, it was pretty good. We were bidding on jobs. We were winning some. Some of the ones we won did, you know, they did get canceled. But we're back at it again now. We've got a lot of maintenance contracts here now.
Okay.
Which, you know, some people turn their nose up to maintenance contracts, but the profit margins I find are a lot higher.
Really?
Way higher, actually. In that side of things, you know, you go in and you can't price things by the piece because you don't know how long it's going to take. So you estimate your hourly rate, bill it out, and go from there.
Yeah. Good deal. We've got a question from the audience here. Joseph Lambert asks, if it comes to commercial work, are they insisting that you install all types of flooring, or is that just your personal choice?
Most commercial projects, when you're bidding on them, they'll want you to do all flooring. Typically, what's excluded is terrazzos and epoxies are excluded, but they'll want all resilient flooring and ceramic in one bid. So if you don't do ceramics, I suggest partnering with a guy that does. You know, you don't have to merge businesses, but put the bid in together on one company and do the job together.
Yeah, get creative. Yeah, Joseph's probably solely into ceramic, from what I believe.
Right.
So yeah, I like it. You know, creative business minds. You know, looking for ways to expand, different services to offer. I mean, this is a different business model than I normally talk about, but it's a you know, as Matthew's saying, and or Michael, excuse me, saying here, it can be a profitable business, and you know, done right, it can be a great business if that's something that you're after. And I know recently I've had a lot of folks, a lot of tile contractors ask me about getting into commercial work. So I think you really provide a lot of value here, Michael, and answered some questions. If anybody's got any more questions, type them away here in the chat box and we'll get to them.
Yeah, one thing I do recommend is getting a maintenance contract. You know, get a maintenance contract with 1 or 2 places. That keeps your cash flow going while you're waiting for these projects to start.
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to jump from, you know, one project to the next. At least we don't here. It's not as busy here. You know, if I was in another part of Canada, we probably could just keep rolling from one larger project to the next.
Yeah.
But having those maintenance contracts really helps.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense to me. So, looks like that's it from the audience. Looks like your boys are back there. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Well, listen, Michael, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview and share your business knowledge and knowledge that you have. And I'm looking forward to kind of watching your business grow and checking in with you. And if anybody has any questions, Michael, where can people find you? I know you're in the Tile Money Facebook group.
Yeah, Tile Money Facebook group. That's the easiest way. You can email me if you like, Michael at rrich.ca.
Okay. And we'll include that in the show notes as well.
Right on.
All right, Michael, will you enjoy your evening? I know you've got some stuff to do tonight. And I once again appreciate you sharing your knowledge.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. All right, tile friends. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Tile Money Podcast. Until next time, stay profitable out there, tile friends.